all four of us are here, and we have a pretty packed agenda today, and we have Public Works coming in at 5:30, so we are 5:25, so we're going to try to be as efficient as we can today with all of these items. First up, we have the consent calendar, which we've had a chance to look at since last Friday, thanks to Kim. So we have a lot of things here, recurring sorts of partnerships that come up year after year. And then also some just smaller value sort of contracts. So if we don't have any questions about the consent calendar, and then Ellen, would you like to move to approve?
Yeah, no questions. I can move to approve the consent calendar.
I second.
All right, and roll call vote for all those in favor, please.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Reinke.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, that motion is carried, and then we'll move into the public hearings and appearances. And we have 4 IU students who are winning the Bravo Award today, which Julie Ramey will tell us about.
Good afternoon, I'm Julie Reed, the Community Relations Manager for Bloomington Parks and Recreation. I am standing in today for Emily Book, the Community Relations Coordinator, to recognize this month's outstanding volunteers with our Bravo Award. We would like to recognize IU students Audrey Hankinson, Megan Kapp, Morgan Plunkett, and Rachel Gingrich, who worked with through the R410 Event Planning and Program Development course with the 2022 Children's Expo. Audrey, Megan, Morgan, and Rachel worked extremely closely with the event coordinator and community events specialist Haley Pryson throughout the semester to successfully plan the annual Children's Expo. According to Haley, these students took the initiative to brainstorm new ideas with the hopes of reaching a more diverse population with the Expo. They met weekly to discuss ideas and details, and all took on individual tasks that needed to be accomplished during the Expo itself, overseeing volunteers, ensuring that all the tasks were successfully carried out, all while supervising other IU students and high school staff. These 4 women were wonderful representatives of Bloomington Parks and Recreation, and it is our delight to present them with the Bravo Award for the month of May. And I believe some, at least, were going to be with us virtually. Kim, did they zoom in? Audrey, if you're on Zoom and would like to say anything on behalf of your group to the park board, now's your opportunity.
Hi, yeah, I would love to. I just wanted to say what a great opportunity it was for us and what a joy it was to work.
Hey,
with
Audrey,
the
talk really
Bloomington-
loudly and into your microphone if you could, please.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. It was really such a joy for each of us to get to work with the Bloomington Parks and Recreation Department. We really learned a lot from it, and Haley was just a really valuable asset in teaching us so much and helping us to get a lot of exposure to new things. We were really grateful for the experience, and we're excited to hopefully do more with you guys in the future.
Yes, thank you, Audrey. And I was just going to suggest, hoping the 4 of you might be able to work with Children's Expo again. And it sounds like maybe so. So thank you, and Rachel and Megan and Morgan, for all your volunteer efforts.
And all of them received their congratulatory certificates via snail mail.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Julie. And then we will move into our staff introduction section with Rachel Van Voorhees, Natural Resources Intern.
Hi, my name is Rachel Van Voorhees. I just wrapped up my first year at SPIA in the master's program concentrating on environmental policy and natural resource management. I graduated from undergrad here last spring, where I studied international studies and environment and sustainability. Now I'm working here, and I'm also working remotely for the refugee crisis in Bangladesh to help out create some materials there and provide some support there. So I'm very interested in community involvement and working with different kinds of minority groups to bring them closer together.
All right, great. It's nice to meet you, Rachel.
Thank you. You
Yeah,
too.
welcome to the Parks Department. All right, and then we'll move into our Section C, other business. First up is a partnership agreement with Bloomington Parkour for High Street, Rogers Street, Winslow Roundabout. Hi.
Joanna Sparks, City Landscaper, here today to happily recommend approval of a partnership with Bloomington Parkour for the adoption of the Winslow High and Rogers Roundabout. And actually, David Frew, the representative from the organization, is here via Zoom, and he would just like to take a few moments to let you know a few things about Bloomington Parkour and why they would like to adopt.
Okay, great.
Okay, David, you have the floor.
Thank you. Hello, my name is David Frew. I'm the coach and organizer for Bloomington Parkour. We're a nonprofit sports group here in Bloomington, Indiana that promotes the sport of parkour in a safe and responsible manner. Part of our mission is community engagement, and we're a very leave no trace sort of organization. Independently, we've been doing trash pickups wherever we've gone for training, or we've actually participated in the Pick It Up program once or twice. And adopting this roundabout is a logical next step for us to taking more of a proactive role as responsible members of the Bloomington, Indiana community.
All right, yeah. Oh, I just, in case people aren't familiar with what parkour is, you could describe it probably a lot better than I could. David, you want to give a brief description?
Certainly. We are a holistic sort of movement sport where we tackle everyday objects such as stairwells and walls and rocks and such in order to improve our physical health through jumping and vaulting and climbing, etc. Natural movement.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Well, we look forward to having the roundabout spruced up some more there by this organization. So if we don't have any questions, you want to?
Yeah, I can put a motion forward to approve the partnership with Bloomington Parkour.
Second.
All right, and a roll call vote, please.
Kathleen
Kim?
Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera,
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is unanimously carried. Thank you, David. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you. And Joanna Sparks, City Landscaper, here for one more item.
Okay.
I would like to recommend approval of a contract with Ecologic for year 2 of wetland monitoring at the Switchard Park. The amount should not exceed $9,148. And basically, we entered into, we completed the mitigation, the actual construction process, and now we're in the monitoring phase, which we need to do for a minimum of 3 years. So Ecologic successfully completed that project and submitted our reports as required by law last year, and we'd just like to continue our agreement with them. And I can give you more information, but I know the agenda is packed.
Okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, any questions for Joanna?
Questions? I saw the Ecologic truck at Miller Showers, I think, on my way into town earlier. So.
Yes, they were actually planting a bunch of native grasses
Oh,
today.
great.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'll move to approve the partnership with Ecologic again.
Second.
Okay, and roll call, please.
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera,
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Joanna.
Thank you all very much.
And next up, Aaron Hatch will tell us about an addendum to service agreement with Bluestone Tree.
Hello, Aaron Hatch, Urban Forester. I'm here to present about a addendum to an existing service agreement with Bluestone Tree and to recommend approval of this addendum. This is an already existing service agreement for removal of full trees and limbs of various city trees. This year we've had a lot of requests in very, very difficult spots of trees requiring removal, and we foresee that there will be more removal needs that will require a contractor as the year continues. And so I would like to request that the service agreement be increased from $30,000 to $45,000. And this would be coming from our standard contractual 399 line.
Okay. And when you say requests, are you like other park staff are noticing situations, or the public is saying this looks like it's hazardous, or?
The latter. So the public will come. Most of these have been in, say, unimproved right-of-ways or other situations that are difficult to access and pose potential high risk to adjacent homes, have been the vast majority this year.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions for Aaron?
How much have we spent so far?
30,000.
Okay. So we're not quite halfway yet, so we're hoping for a calm summer and fall.
I'm hoping so.
Okay, thank you.
I'll move to approve extension of the contract with Bluestone.
Second?
And a roll call, please.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, motion is carried. Thank you,
Thank you.
Aaron. And next up is our partnership agreement with Buskirk Chumley Theater Management, Chaz Modinger.
Hi, Chaz Modinger. So I'm presenting today on a contract to renew the city's agreement with the Buskirk Chumley Theater Management to run all programmatic operations of the Buskirk Chumley Theater and to maintain repairs to all the interior of the facility and its equipment. So there's 2 new items on this contract, and one is increasing the agreement timeline from 1 to 3 years, and then the other is allowing any money pledged to the Buskirk Chumley through its centennial campaign to remain with the management company if its contract with the city is dissolved under any circumstances. So just 2 changes to the yearly renewal.
Okay. And it has been fairly long-standing, so it seems like a good idea to move it to,
Yes.
did you say 3 years?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's where that came from, because just 3 years made more sense than 1.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, any questions for Chaz?
What's the campaign raising money for?
It's their 100-year anniversary, and it's from June 1st, 2020 through May 31st, 2023. And so they're just using it as a way to do more fundraising. So in the unlikelihood that we would disband our contract with them, they would get to keep that money, is all it's saying. But that's really unlikely, I think. So
And it's the 100th anniversary of what?
they're, I think of their first program, I believe, or of the theater.
theater, that's what I was
of the
wondering.
theater
Okay.
starting. So. Mhm.
Okay.
And this partnership comes before the park board, it will go before Public Works and RDC as well. So as you noticed in the packet, there's sections for us for each department. So they make their rounds this time of year and get the approval from all the boards.
Okay.
Well, now we won't have to do it again until 2024.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I'll move to approve the partnership agreement with Buskirk Chumley Theater Management.
Second?
A roll call, please.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Chaz.
Yeah, thank you.
And next up, it's been a couple years since we talked about the Gateway projects, and a few things have happened in the interim, but
Well, you're correct. Paula McDevitt, Director of the City of Bloomington Parks and Recreation Department, and I'm happy to be back and bringing the Gateway projects back to you. Yes, the Gateways are part of the bicentennial bond package, and we did get a really good start in 2019, and Rondell Ernstberger and Associates were contracted then to look at 4 sites, which they did, and they proposed some designs, and it was moving along nicely, and then COVID hit, and everything came to a screeching halt. So happy to come back before you again with this contract and seeking approval with REA for 2 Gateway projects. Initially, we had 4 sites, and over the past couple of years, taking a look at it, the priority sites have been identified as Miller Showers Park, the most northern tip of the park, and then the Arlington Bridge, which everyone is very familiar with, and happy to be working with REA again. They will be coming back to do schematic design, design development, bidding, construction documents, and construction administration. So pulling out the early content of the project and taking a deeper dive now and actually getting this project moving. The timeline is pretty aggressive to get through the schematic design and the bidding process and hopefully start construction early next year and wrap it up by the end of 2023.
Okay, and is there a possibility of the other 3 sites coming back at some point in the future?
At some point, definitely. Their first contract with us, they really took a look at the history of Bloomington, the limestone, the native plantings and all that. One of the locations is out by Twin Lakes, so a west side entrance. So definitely we have that information for future, but again, these 2 sites, most prominent, a lot of traffic, and we wanted to move forward with these 2 sites in 2022 and 23.
So the 2 sites that we are talking about, were they 2 of the sites that were identified before?
Originally, right. Mm-hmm.
So this contract's just, we're not redoing what we did before, this is just building on what we did
Just
before.
building on
The next
looking
step.
at landscaping. The Arlington Bridge in particular is owned by NDOT, and so there's a lot of rules and regulations of what we can do, so we merely just touched on that in 2019, but now we are in deep conversation with them, have their landscaping guidelines, and they have given us a little glimmer of hope that we will be able to do some sprucing up there. So feel really good about the work that they did for us in 2019, but very committed to these 2 sites and moving forward.
Okay. Yes, Israel?
So one of the remaining, so there is one that is on private property, right?
Correct.
And then we will be working on 2, and the remaining one is not going to be executed because over budget.
Correct. So in 2019, we looked at the Arlington Bridge, Miller Showers Park, Twin Lakes Sports Park, green space there, and that out on the east side on East 3rd Street. That one was on private property, and we just merely identified it as an entrance to Bloomington, high traffic, but just there was too many obstacles to take that one forward.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, I know that the last time this came around, Les really wanted like some sort of a light show sign, but we'll see what the budget allows. So
Correct.
yeah. Okay. All right. So do we have a motion for this one?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the contract with REA for the 2 gateways.
I'll second.
All right. And a roll call, please.
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera,
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Motion is carried unanimously, and then Paula will stay with us to tell us about some updated lighting at the Cascades Golf Course.
Yes, thank you. Paula McDevitt, Director of the Department, and I'm standing in for Aaron Craig today. We have a lighting project at Cascades Golf Course. We would like your approval for a contract with Woods Electric to install 2 parking lot lights to add safety and better lighting out in the parking lot for an amount not to exceed $5,480. And this will be paid from some general obligation bond money that remains from our original list. As you know, we invested quite a bit out at Cascades with the new Pro Shop and Clubhouse, and this was just an area that we've wanted to improve upon. We have a lot of rentals. That Clubhouse is renting a lot, and oftentimes the events end or conclude at in darkness, and that we just wanted to add some extra light, not only for people at the Clubhouse, but also for those golfers that are coming off the course at twilight.
Okay. So this is just 2 more 15-foot light poles, not replacing anything that's already there.
No, and the
Yeah.
electrical is already there. It was installed when we built the clubhouse, so that helped contain the cost for this project.
Okay. All right. Any questions about this one? No? Okay.
Now I can move to approve the contract with Woods Electric.
Second.
All right. And a roll call?
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera,
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion
Thank you.
carried. Thank you, Paula. And then Leslie Brenson is up next to tell us about the contract with Chef for Hire.
Good afternoon, Leslie Brinson, the Community Events Manager. I am here today wearing a little different hat, helping out at the Banneker Center, but we recommend the approval of a mid-level service agreement with Chef for Hire, Inc. for the 2022 Banneker Summer Camp Program. The Banneker Community Center would once again like to enter into a contract with Chef for Hire to support the Banneker Summer Camp Program. The Indianapolis-based company provides vended, prepackaged meals that meet USDA Summer Food Service Program requirements for the 70 to 80 participants daily at the Banneker Center Summer Camp. These meals are scheduled and delivered twice a week and stored at the center. And then the orders are based on the participant numbers for that week so that the number ordered can vary from week to week. In order to help reduce the amount of excess food that's left from week to week. We've worked with Chef for Hire for several years now and would like to continue to do so in 2022. They do a good job of following the meal plans and providing the service and working with the staff on meal prep. And so I asked for the approval of this contract, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, all right, any questions for Leslie?
It's every day, right? Even they just like the kids get breakfast
Correct.
and lunch every day.
The kids will get breakfast and lunch every day, Monday through Friday. The meals will be delivered twice a week to help keep them fresh, and then they are stored in the refrigerators at the Banneker Center and served each meal. And that way, by delivering twice a week, it limits the amount of storage that we have to have, as well as keeping the items more fresh.
Okay,
All right.
all right,
I'll move to approve the contract with Chef for Hire.
I will second.
all right, and roll call.
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera,
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
And next, Julie Ramey is back to tell us about an agreement for contracts with Name, Imagine, Likeness with Anthony Leal and Chloe Moore McNeil.
Good afternoon, Julie Ramey, the Community Relations Manager with the Parks and Recreation Department, here to ask your approval for an agreement with IU, Indiana University basketball players Anthony Leal and Chloe Moore McNeil to use their name, image, and likeness, or NIL, in our marketing efforts. The NCAA and National Collegiate Athletic Association in July 2021 began allowing college athletes the opportunity to benefit from the use of their names, images, and likenesses without violating NCAA policies. The department selected 2 IU basketball players, one each from the men's and women's teams, whose demonstrated hard work, sportsmanship, and character on and off the court reflect the department's values for its Bloomington Youth Basketball League. To support student athletes in our basketball-loving town, we want to encourage young players to identify role models in their chosen sports and to leverage marketing efforts for our fall and winter recreation programs. We've worked with the athletes' representative to craft mutually beneficial agreements that will compensate each athlete for the use of their names, images, and likeness for October through December 2022. We plan to use their image on the cover of the fall-winter program guide and also use their name, image, and likeness in marketing campaigns to increase the use of rental court space at the Twin Lakes Recreation Center and of our registrations in our Bloomington Youth Basketball Leagues. The agreement includes a photo shoot at the TLRC that'll take place in early June, and the use, as I mentioned, of their name, image, and likeness through the period October 1 through December 31st of this year. Happy to answer any questions about name, image, and likeness. It's probably worthwhile also to add that we are in the process of thoroughly vetting the agreement to make sure that we are in compliance with all the NCAA rules governing the NIL agreements.
Okay, all right, thank you. And obviously, this is new territory since the NCAA just changed their rules. Do you have any sort of metric for how you'll determine at the end of the year if it's successful or not?
We have the pre-NIL numbers, so we know, for example, how many hours of court rental there are. We know how many players we have in the youth basketball leagues. So the use of Anthony's and Chloe's names, images, and likenesses will be used in marketing campaigns, and then compared after the end of at least the next spring's basketball season, hoping to gain some momentum. Ideally, IU will have a great basketball season, and that always helps boost basketball registrations. So we have those numbers to work with from the past several years, and it'll be easy to compare just the solid numbers for court rental hours and numbers of registrations.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions?
I'm curious about the time frame of October 1 to December 31st and how that corresponds to, does that mean that we can only use their pictures on magazines between October 1 and December 31st, or are they going to show up on the website? Do we have to take that website down if there are pictures on it after December 31st, or how is that working?
It is a finite agreement. So the agreement is that we can use their name, images, and likenesses for just that time period. So yes, we're going to put their images on the website, but as of December 31st, we can no longer use their names, their images, any of the photographs. So it was selected to be that time frame because that's the time frame of our fall-winter program guide and our fall-winter program season.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah,
Yes.
just remind me on checking the package, but how was the process for selecting the two basketball players? Was there any committee or youth people voting for them, or how was the selection done?
So Anthony Leal is a Bloomington native and has a big local following. And as I mentioned in the report itself, that he and Chloe Moore McNeil are very popular players. They have not only a great basketball game, but have exhibited exemplary character and sportsmanship, and are very willing to be a representative of Bloomington Parks and Recreation. So we definitely wanted to make sure that male and female athletes were both represented in our campaign. So that's why we selected a player from each team.
Thank you.
Let's have a motion.
No other questions? Thanks, Julie. I'll make a motion to approve the name, image, likeness contracts with Anthony Leal and Chloe Moore McNeil.
I will second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Julie. Motion is carried. Next up, Clarence Boone will tell us about some appointments to the Farmers Market Advisory Council.
Good afternoon, Clarence Boone, Program Facility Coordinator for the Farmers Market and Community Gardens. Staff recommends the appointment of several individuals to the Farmers Market Advisory Council. The Farmers Market Advisory Council consists of 11 members representing market vendors, customers, and food and beverage artisans. The council acts in an advisory capacity to the Board of Park Commissioners and park staff on policy matters relating to the farmers market. And I have attached a list of the Farmers Market Advisory Council members, but then in particular those offices or those positions that we are seeking appointments. There are 2 former representative positions open, 2 food and beverage positions open, and 3 customer representative positions open. And a notice regarding the position openings was placed in the Market Beat and the customer newsletter of the Bloomington Community Farmers Market, and we received 5 applications. Now, the prospective Farmers Market Advisory Council members are Karen St. Rain for farmer vendor, Kip Schlegel for a farmer vendor, Tracy Bruce for food and beverage artisan vendor representative, and Fruk Safong Visu Thadwang Dasdi for customer representative, and Macaulay Ward for customer representative. And I'll entertain any questions if you have any.
Okay, any questions for Clarence? No? Okay, yeah, just happy to have representatives on the advisory council, so,
Agreed.
all right.
I'll move to approve the appointments of these 5 members to the Farmers Market Advisory Council.
I will second.
Okay, and a roll call vote, please.
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera, Jim Whitlatch.
All right, motion carried. Thank you, Clarence. And next up, many items from Tim Street. First off is Resolution 2204 for Title 12 Enforcement Authority.
Good evening, Board of Park Commissioners. My name is Tim Street. I am the Development and Operations Division Director for Parks. Happy to be here with you tonight. As Kathleen said, I've got a few items in a row. The first item is Resolution 22-04. We recommend approval of this resolution, reaffirming the granting of enforcement authority for various line of sight and clearance issues related to vegetation in and along the public right-of-way to the city engineer and their delegates. Reaffirmation because in Resolution 15-02 that was approved by the Park Board did delegate and affirm this authority for parks to be able to delegate this to what was known at the time as, let me make sure I get the title right, the Transportation and Traffic Engineer in what was then the Planning and Transportation Department. Since then, at the beginning of last year, engineering became its own department within the city, and we now have Andrew Seabour is actually still the same person that was authorized in 2015, but his title is now City Engineer. So this resolution is essentially a clarifying and a reaffirmation of the Resolution 15-02. Our staff are not really out and about to look at various AASHTO standards for vegetation clearance, sight lines, things like that. So we do rely on the engineering staff to help us enforce Title 12. Though the authority in Title 12 is given officially to the Board of Park Commissioners. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for Tim?
No questions?
Does the city have a regular inspection process they go through that since we've delegated to us, do they have a process to go through?
You know, I can't speak too much to engineering specific process, but I do know they have several staff members, Mike Stewart in particular, Liz Carter, several other staff members who are going out and regularly responding to complaints, looking at this type of issue. And additionally, as they go from site to site, this is very much on their mind and they're watching for these kind of issues.
Okay, any other questions for Tim? No? All right, Ellen?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2204 for Title 12 Enforcement Authority.
Second?
And a roll call vote?
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera,
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. And then Tim will stay with us to tell us about the pedestrian bridge inspections.
Yes, so last year we identified as one of our strategic goals to conduct pedestrian bridge inspections on our various bridge infrastructure that we have throughout parks. Not road infrastructure because that doesn't fall to parks, but pedestrian bridges, structures, things like that. So we were able to bring a contract to you last year when we got a few of those underway, and this is the next step in doing more of those bridges. So we recommend approval of a contract with Beam, Longest, and Neff for professional inspections of 5 pedestrian bridges and structures with an amount not to exceed $12,000. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so this came up just as one of the strategic goals, but it wasn't born of any sort of issues necessarily with pedestrian bridges?
No, and thankfully the inspections that we had done so far have turned up very minor things. And we also started with our most major trafficked bridges. So in general, things are looking good. This is just a periodic maintenance check that we want to do to make sure everything's in good shape.
Okay, all right. Any other questions for Tim?
All right.
Okay.
Move to approve the contract with Beam, Longest, and Neff for pedestrian bridge inspections.
I will second.
All right, and roll call vote?
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera,
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. And then Tim will also tell us about the Waldron Hill and Buzzkirk Park, also known as 3rd Street Park, stage repairs.
Yes. So commissioners, you might recall that I believe it was late last year that I came to you with a contract for RC engineers to inspect some structural issues that had been discovered with the column wraps on the Waldron Hill Buzzkirk Park stage. the columns specifically that wrap the stage supports in the front. From there, we identified a solution. We worked with RC engineers to design that solution and to put out an RFQ. This contract is the result of that RFQ. This will allow us to hire Midwest Maintenance at a contract sum not to exceed $75,000 to deconstruct and reconstruct the front column wraps on the stage. This would be done in July and finished in early to mid-August. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, and I know we touched on this before, but we don't really know exactly why it needs, I mean, there was construction in the area, but we don't know.
We did bring up, and one of the reasons we hired RC engineers was because they do have expertise in identifying issues that could be caused from nearby construction. They did not determine that to be the cause here, but rather determined that it was from wind deflection over the 20-odd years of how long the stage has existed, and we have identified a way to rebuild it that will mitigate that issue for the future.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Any other questions for Tim? Okay, Ellen?
Move to approve the contract with Midwest Maintenance for the Waldron Hill and Buskirk Park stage repairs.
I will second.
All right, and a roll call vote?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, motion is carried. And then Tim will also tell us about the Park Ridge East court resurfacing.
Yes, so this is me kind of stepping in while we don't have a sports director and just helping keep some budget goals going. We put out an RFQ for the Park Ridge East. There are 2 tennis courts and 1 basketball court there that are on the worst end of the spectrum of our court conditions. These were budgeted for this year for replacement, crack repair, asphalt overlay, and then coating and restriping. So we recommend approval of a contract with Lentz Paving for crack repair and asphalt resurfacing of these courts at an amount not to exceed $58,250. This will be completed this summer, and I will mention that there will be a follow-up park board item in the future to do the coating and line striping on these, which is done with a separate vendor. The asphalt typically cures for a couple months in between, so the asphalt overlay will be done, and then we'll come back with a contract, hopefully soon, to make sure we've got another vendor lined up to come back and complete the job.
So while it's curing for a couple of months, does that mean it's not available for people to?
You know, it's available. It can be
Okay.
used. It just won't be striped
Right.
and final coated, but
Okay.
there's no reason that people won't be able to use it.
So all serves are in then if you, okay. All right, good to know. Any other questions for Tim? No? Okay, all right, Ellen?
Yeah, I'll move to approve the contract with Lens Paving for Park Ridge East court resurfacing.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried, and then I think, yes, finally will be an addendum that Tim has with Scenic Construction for Cascades Phase 5.
Yes, thank you for sticking with me. We made it to the last one. Staff recommends approval of a contract addendum with Scenic Construction Services to complete items identified in our second change order at an amount not to exceed $5,960. We are rapidly nearing the end of the Cascades project. We've just got a few loose ends we're looking at wrapping up and a few things we've identified. This one happens to be for some public safety improvements with access to the trail at a spot where there is a drop-off, manufacturing a couple railings and installing those to mitigate the danger from that drop-off along the new trail. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions for Tim?
It's looking really good out there.
Looking good, okay. All right, you
I'll
wanna,
move to approve the addendum with Scenic Construction for Cascades Phase 5.
I second.
all right, roll call vote.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you very much.
And then next up, one of our new staff members, Emily Carrico, will tell us about the IU Rec Sports Agreement for All Kids Swim program.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm Emily Carrico, the Health and Wellness Coordinator. I would like to recommend the partnership agreement with Indiana University Aquatics for the All Kids Swim program. It will be taking place this June and July in 2022, and the amount is not to exceed $3,000. This is a program that is actually grant funded through the Indiana State Department of Health through their YAPA grant, their Youth, Adolescent, and Physical Activity grant. So with the help of Indiana University, children who attend Banneker Summer Camp will be able to get free swimming lessons during their time at the camp. So each of them will get 2 weeks free of charge with IU skilled instructors. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm excited about this, and especially I know we talked at our Parks Board retreat about just higher percentages of children of color drowning and not having access all the time to swim lessons. So I think this will be a great program. Any questions for Emily?
Yeah, so this is linked just with the Banneker Summer Camp, or is open to other?
It is just for the participants at Banneker Summer Camp.
Just for.
Thanks, Emily. I'll move to approve a partnership agreement with IA Rec Sports and the All Kids Swim program.
Second?
Okay, and a roll call vote?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Emily. And then Haley Pryson will tell us about the partnership with the always popular Touch-A-Truck.
Good afternoon, Haley Pryson, Community Events Specialist. Staff recommends approval of the Touch-A-Truck at the Fair Partnership Agreement with the Monroe County Fair Association. No funds will be exchanged. In exchange for this event, the Monroe County Fair Association will offer a free site rental in a future date. This is a partnership agreement for a new event, Touch-A-Truck at the Fair. This event will take place at the Monroe County Fair on Kids Day, allowing children the opportunity to get close to a variety of trucks and vehicles. The event will be taking place on June 29th from 12 to 3 p.m. at the Monroe County Fairground Grandstand.
Okay, all right. Any questions for Haley?
What kind of trucks?
That's what I wondered.
So we have some emergency vehicles, we have some people just bringing trucks, probably some farming equipment as well. So a lot of different things. They're still rolling in every day. So it'll be exciting. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
Approve a partnership with the fairgrounds for Touch-A-Truck.
I will second.
All right, roll call vote?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Haley.
Thank you.
And then Julie Ramey will step back up to tell us about an MOU with Area 10 Agency on Aging RSVP program.
Yes, good afternoon one more time. Julie Ramey, Community Relations Manager for the Parks and Recreation Department, here to request your approval of an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, between Bloomington Parks and Recreation and the RSVP volunteer program through the Area 10 Agency on Aging. RSVP is a volunteer program of Area 10, and it's for volunteers ages 55 and better. RSVP matches the talents and interests of volunteers with meaningful programs that help better the community. And in accordance with the MOU, RSVP and Area 10 will recruit and register volunteers for parks programs, ensure that the volunteers are physically capable of carrying out specific roles, will help coordinate transportation to the volunteer opportunity, provide liability and health insurance, and also coordinate closely with the community relations coordinator to address any needs or concerns. We have a long-standing relationship with RSVP and really appreciate their substantial involvement in the success of our annual 50-plus Expo. And this MOU is typically renewed every 3 years. So this is a renewal of an agreement that we've had with them for the past several years. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any other board members have questions for Julie?
You mentioned something about health. Did you say health insurance? Or you said liability and something, I thought you said health insurance.
Liability insurance for sure, during transportation and during the activity itself.
Okay. But I thought you said health insurance, but I must have misheard you.
He does say health insurance, liability and health insurance.
I'll have to go back and double check on the details. It's someone else's board report.
Okay, sorry. It's probably some kind of medical pay or something benefit if they get injured while they're.
I will double check on the details.
It's in the contract, page 333. Provide accident liability and health and excess automobile liability insurance coverage for volunteers while on volunteer assignment.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right, well, I will move to approve the MOU with Area 10 Agency on Aging RSVP program.
Second?
All right, roll call vote.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Motion carried. Thank you, Julie.
It does say that's RSVP provides that, not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, and then Paula will tell us about the CAPRA accreditation annual report, master plan, and strategic action plan.
Yes, Paula McDevitt, Director of the City of Bloomington Parks and Recreation Department. And staff recommends the approval of the 2021-2025 Strategic Action Plan and goals and objectives for our City of Bloomington Parks and Recreation Department. As you recall, about a year ago, June 7th, a year ago, we went through reaccreditation, quite the lengthy process. And then annually, once you are reaccredited, annually you submit an annual report on how you're doing. Well, we passed all 154 standards, but CAPRA changed up the annual report this year, and they select between 3 and 5 standards for all accredited departments to give an update on. So our team has been working on that. Our accreditation team is Kim Clapp, Julie Ramey, Leslie Brinson, and Becky Higgins and myself. And one of the standards that they would like us to review and make sure that we are using and working towards is our strategic action plan. So as you recall, the master plan that you approved, the result was 4 goals, and Kim has put this up for you. So this was overarching 4 goals that came out of all of our focus groups, our community survey, citizen input, and underneath each goal are suggested strategies. And at our staff retreat in the fall, we took this document and divided up into our areas and have put together what is before you, and that is our very detailed strategic action plan. Part of the annual report and review is that we present our strategic action plan to you, and I will be back at the end of the year to give you an update on how well we're doing. But essentially, staff have put down on paper goals and specific steps and team members and associated timelines for 2021 through 2025, and then what we extrapolated out for you in this document are our 2022 goals that we're working on. So as you can tell, there are a lot of tasks to accomplish, but this document is also used to set our budget goals, and we are in 2023 budget preparation time right now, so has a lot of use. It's great for planning. It also substantiates what our community wants, and that we are listening to what the top priorities are and what our community would like for us to accomplish. So pretty big document, but again, I'll be reporting back at the end of the year for your review and approval of all that we accomplished and to give you a preview of what's up next in 2023. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I know that you only report to us at the end of the year. How often do you work with staff to assess where they are throughout the year? Is that like quarterly check-ins, mid-year?
It is left up to each division at division meetings. Usually it happens a couple times a year. We'll bring it up at the staff retreat as well. Because these goals translate into our budget goals, they are also used, city administration, we have our goals, and they're the same goals. So we do a check-in and review mid-year on the goals that get reported out to the community. And then at the end of the year, it'll be part of my budget presentation as well. So it's a document that's in front of us. It's a document that can change. We could get into a goal, and for whatever reason, it's not feasible, or it might change a little bit, or we might identify a new project, a new partner, and we can work, and that's fine. That's part of, it's a working document. But again, this is related to our accreditation status and part of our annual report back to National that we are indeed using it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Paula? All right. Okay, then Ellen.
Yeah, I will move to approve the CAPRA accreditation annual report master plan and strategic action plan.
I will second.
Roll call vote, please.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
All right, motion is carried. Thank you, Paula. And we don't have any reports this afternoon, so we'll move into the public comment section. If we have anyone here in person or anyone on Zoom, or we're still on Facebook Live as well? No, Zoom, okay. So we'll take just a second. If there is anyone here in person who would like to make a comment, you can approach the podium.
If anyone on Zoom would like to make a comment, if you'd use your raise hand function, please.
No, okay. All right, so seeing no public comment, then we will turn it back over to Paula to tell us, yes, any reminders and wrap up things that we should know?
Big thank you, because we definitely loaded up your agenda, but as you can tell, we are busy and we've hit the season in stride. We stand on the brink of summer kicking off. Of course, we've started with some concerts and market has been open, but our pools open, both Bryan Park Pool and Mills Pool open at 11 a.m. this Saturday for the season, and Dee and her staff are ready to go. So now we just need really good weather for the rest of the summer. So excited about that. Our camp staff, both at Kid City and Banneker, are finishing up training this week, and they will open up on Monday. So we have all the kiddos that are on summer break coming at us on Monday as well. So excited. Just want to encourage everyone to continue to monitor our social media with project updates. Our Outer Spatial app is a great tool that is loaded with all of the information that you could ever want to know about the department, events, trails, project updates, all of that. So really encourage you to find out what's going on there. And then finally, we'll see you for your next park board meeting, June 28th. That's all I have.
Okay, all right, thank you. And with that, our May meeting of the Bloomington Board of Park Commissioners is adjourned.